My girlfriend said, "Your face is ruining the aesthetic." I replied, "You don't fit it anymore." Then I left her at the vineyard, froze her card, bagged her brand life, changed the Wi-Fi, and drove on in silence until a broken voicemail from a pay phone 2 blocks away tested my resolve. Welcome back to AF Tales. Today's story is about a boyfriend who slowly became his girlfriend's wallet and chauffeur, until she told him his face was ruining the aesthetic in front of everyone. As you listen, think about the moment you would have walked away. It happened in the middle of a group photo. We were at a vineyard party, standing in front of a big flower wall made for pictures. Alina was smiling for the camera like her life depended on it. Julian was beside her, posing like he owned the place. I stepped in because the photographer asked if I wanted to join. I put my arm around Alina's waist, the waist of the woman I had lived with for 2 years, the woman whose rent I paid. I smiled like a normal boyfriend. Alina stiffened. Then she leaned away from me toward Julian like I was a stranger. And then she did it. She looked straight at me, cold and flat, and said loud enough for the people behind us to hear, "Mark, can you actually move? You're crowding the shot." I blinked. "I'm just standing next to you." She rolled her eyes like I was being difficult. "Yeah, and it looks cluttered. The aesthetic is ethereal and you look stiff. Just move out of the picture. Your face is ruining the aesthetic." Julian tried to hide a laugh. I saw it anyway. Here's the thing. A partner who loves you does not talk to you like you're a prop. That sentence should have ended the relationship on the spot, but it didn't end in a scream. It ended in something quieter. I asked, "You want me out of the picture?" "Yes, Mark, God, just go." She waved her hand like she was shooing a stray dog. Something inside me clicked, not anger, not even heartbreak. It was more like clarity. "Okay," I said. I stepped out of the frame. Alina's face relaxed like she had fixed a problem. She turned back to the camera and put her smile back on. "Okay, Julian, ready?" I didn't go behind the camera. I didn't pick up her purse. I set the bags down on the grass and I kept walking. I walked past the white tents and fountains and tables set with expensive glasses. I didn't run. I didn't stomp. I walked like a man leaving the wrong meeting. At the valet stand, the kid looked confused. "Leaving so soon, sir?" "Emergency," I said and handed him a 20. "Can you get it quick?" 2 minutes later, my Audi rolled up. I got in, adjusted the mirror, and looked back once. In the distance, I could see the party still glowing in white and gold. I pictured Alina still posing, still performing, still sure I'd be standing there holding her things. Then I put the car in drive. I expected sadness to hit the moment I left. I expected panic. I expected that sick feeling of I just abandoned my girlfriend 60 miles from the city. None of it came. Instead, I felt something I hadn't felt in 2 years. Relief. Like a heavy, wet coat sliding off my shoulders, I turned on the radio. Not Alina's top 40 station, the one she said kept the energy up. I put on a boring economics podcast. It was dry. It was calm. It didn't mention vibes once. It was perfect. About 40 minutes into the drive, my phone buzzed, then buzzed again, then again. 3 missed calls. All Alina. I didn't answer. I didn't even unlock the phone. I knew what was happening. The photo wall was done. They had moved to the bar. Alina had reached for her purse or her clutch or her card, and she realized I wasn't there. The text started polite and quickly turned sharp. "Where are you? Stop joking. Come back. Mark, you're embarrassing me." I pulled into a rest stop near the city limits. I needed gas, and I needed to handle the only thing I was ever valued for in that relationship: logistics. When I finally unlocked my phone, there were 12 texts. Then a message from her friend KH Low. "Alina is crying. You ruined the whole vibe. Come back and pick us up right now." A week ago, that message would have flipped me around on the highway. I would have apologized for something I didn't do. I would have driven back like my job was to fix her mood. But now, I read it like a work report. Why was she crying? Not because she missed me. She had just said my face ruined her aesthetic. Not because she was worried about my safety. She hadn't asked if I crashed. She was crying because she was stranded. because Uber would be expensive, because Julian couldn't drive, and because, deep down, she didn't have money. That's when I remembered the supplementary credit card I had given her for emergencies. The one that somehow always paid for brunch, makeup, and investment pieces. That card was in the purse I left on the grass. I opened my banking app. I found her card. I froze it. Then I marked it lost and unauthorized. It took 5 seconds. Sometimes the strongest boundary is not a speech. It's a single button you finally press. Then I replied to KH Low. Elena told me I was ruining the picture, so I removed myself from the picture. I'm almost home. Tell Julian to call an Uber. I'm sure he has the funds. I hit send. Then I blocked them all. Elena. KH Low. Julian. I fueled the car, bought a black coffee, and drove home. When I walked into the apartment, the silence felt like clean air. It was 7:00 p.m. Even if they got a ride, they wouldn't be back for at least 90 minutes. I didn't sit down. I didn't pace. I didn't do anything dramatic. I went straight to the closet and grabbed heavy-duty trash bags. I started in the bedroom. Her skincare products went into a bag, clothes off the hangers into bags, shoes into another bag. I moved room to room like I was cleaning out a storage unit. I took down the vision board in the hallway. I unplugged the ring light in the living room. By 8:30, 12 big black bags sat in the hallway outside our door. I wasn't throwing them away. I was removing them. Then I reset the Wi-Fi router and changed the network and password. Simple, quiet, done. The apartment looked bigger without her setup. It looked like mine again. Around 1045, I heard the elevator ding, footsteps, heavy and annoyed, then a stumble. What the? Julian's voice. Elena's voice followed, sharp and panicked. My clothes, is this my stuff? Then she started pounding on the door. Mark, open this door right now, this isn't funny. I didn't open it. I didn't even get up at first. Then she yelled my card didn't work. Julian had to call his mom to pay for the Uber. Do you have any idea how humiliating that was? Humiliating. That word made me walk to the door. I spoke through the wood. You have your stuff, Elena. You have Julian. You have the aesthetic. You don't have an apartment anymore. My name is on the lease. You're not listed as a tenant. You can't do this, she screamed. Where am I supposed to go? She cried, and this time the tears sounded real, not party tears, panic tears. Go to Julian's, I said. He's a visionary. I'm sure he has a vision. He lives on a couch, she snapped. He doesn't have a room. I paused. Sounds like a logistics problem. There are moments in life where you realize you were never treated like a person, only like a service, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Good night, Elena, I said. I went to bed. I put in earplugs. I turned off the light. She pounded for 20 more minutes. Eventually, the elevator dinged again. I heard bags dragging down the hall, then nothing. The first month after was the loudest silence I've ever lived through. I changed my number. I locked down my accounts. I filtered emails with her name into a folder called trash. The flying monkeys showed up anyway. Mutual friends messaging me like they were HR. Elena is really hurting. She's staying at a motel. You can't just abandon someone you lived with. Block. One message said Julian is being weird with her. I'm worried. Call me. For a second I hesitated. Then I remembered his smirk. I remembered Elena's face when she told me to move out of the picture. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Block. And when the noise finally stopped, the clarity showed up in the most boring place possible. My budget spreadsheet. 30 days after the breakup, I looked at my spending and stared. Without Elena's daily salads, aesthetic coffees, makeup runs, weekend trips, and brand investments, my savings didn't just improve. It exploded. My savings rate quadrupled. I was putting away almost $3,000 a month that used to vanish into her soft life era. I upgraded my gym membership. I bought a nice espresso machine, one that looked industrial and plain, and I knew Elena would have hated it. I started dressing better, not for photos, but because I liked how it felt. I slept 8 hours a night. The low-level anxiety that used to hum in my head, the fear that I was boring, that I wasn't enough, faded away. I wasn't holding her back. I was holding her up. 3 months later, I ran into Sarah, one of Alina's friends, at a coffee shop near my office. Sarah was different from the rest. She had a real job. She always treated me like a person. She saw me and said, "Mark, wow, you look great." "I feel great," I told her. She hesitated, then lowered her voice. "I'm not going to guilt you. Honestly, I would have done the same thing, but you should know karma came fast." I didn't say anything. I just watched her. She shook her head. "Julian is a nightmare." They moved into a studio in the garment district because it's all they could afford. It has no windows. It's basically a basement. No windows. Alina used to insist we needed a 2-bedroom apartment for natural light. Sarah kept going. Julian convinced her old brand was too commercial. He's rebranding her as a gritty artist. He makes her wear thrifted stuff that smells like mothballs. He runs her account now. He posts blurry black and white photos of cracked pavement and cigarette butts. I said, "Let me guess." Her followers hate it. "She lost 10,000 followers in 2 months, Sarah replied. "Brands dropped her. She's not an influencer anymore. Mark, she's his assistant. She's working double shifts at a diner to pay for his film costs because he refuses to get a job." Sarah looked down at her cup. "She cries a lot. She told me she didn't realize how much you did until the electricity got cut off." I nodded once. "She didn't miss me. She missed the electricity." Sarah held my gaze for a long moment and then nodded. "Yeah. You're probably right." I left that coffee shop feeling steady. Not high, not angry, just steady. My life kept moving forward. I got promoted to senior logistics manager. More money, better role, transfer to the downtown branch. I started looking for a condo. A place I owned. One afternoon, I was touring a sleek loft with floor-to-ceiling windows and a skyline view when my phone buzzed with a voicemail from a blocked number. I usually delete those, but something made me listen. "Mark, it's me, Alina." Her voice was rough. Not her usual bright, on-camera voice. She sounded tired. "I'm calling from a payphone. Are those even a thing anymore?" She took a shaky breath. "I made a mistake, a huge mistake. He's crazy. He sold my camera, the camera you bought me. He said we needed money for art supplies." She sniffled. "I miss you. I miss us. I miss feeling safe. I'm at the Starbucks on 4th and Main. I don't have anywhere to go tonight. Please just come talk to me. 5 minutes." The message ended. I looked up from the balcony. The Starbucks she named was 3 blocks away. I could walk there in 5 minutes. And I knew the old version of me would have done it. He would have shown up. He would have paid for a hotel. He would have listened to apologies and promised fresh starts. This is the trap. When someone treats you like a tool, they only call you when they need a tool. I stared at the view again. Then I walked back into the living room and told the realtor, "I'll take the condo. I can sign tomorrow." She smiled. "Any other appointments today?" "Just one," I said, checking my watch. "I have to take out the trash." The Starbucks on 4th and Main was bright and harsh, like a fishbowl. I saw Alina before I even opened the door. She was sitting alone at a small round table, staring at a plastic cup of tap water. Not a latte, not a refresher. Water. The Alina I remembered never left the house without perfect hair, perfect makeup, and an outfit planned like a costume. This Alina looked like a rough draft. Her roots were grown out. Her sweater was oversized and gray. I recognized it. It was mine. Stained, too, like it had been pulled out of the trash bags. Her nails were bare and chewed down. Her eyes were tired in a way filters can't fake. When I walked in, the bell chimed. She looked up and her face crumbled. Relief and shame hit her at the same time. "Mark," she whispered. She stood up too fast and bumped the table. The water sloshed. She stepped toward me like she wanted to hug me. I didn't move. I stayed just inside the door like there was glass between us. She stopped. Her arms dropped. "You came," she said, and her voice cracked. "I didn't think you would." "I was in the neighborhood," I said, calm, flat. "I'm closing on a condo." Her eyes widened. "A condo downtown. Floor-to-ceiling windows, I said. Great light. The irony landed and she flinched. That sounds amazing, she said softly. You always wanted that. I did, I said. You have 5 minutes, she swallowed. Mark, please, can we sit? People are staring. Let them stare, I said. I thought you liked an audience. She looked down at her boots. Don't be cruel. I know I deserve it, but I'm drowning. Julian is a monster. He used me. He pawned my jewelry. He gaslit me. He sounds like a bad investment, I said. He was a mistake, she said, stepping closer. I got caught up in the hype. Losing you woke me up. I miss us. I miss Sunday mornings. I miss you cooking. I miss having a partner who cares. She reached out and touched my sleeve. Her hand was cold. I can fix this, she whispered. I've changed. I'm done with the influencer stuff. I just want you. We can start over. I can move into the new place. I'll get a real job. I looked at her hand on my coat, a coat she had never seen before because it came from the version of my life that started after her. I gently removed her hand. No, I said. Elena, stop. I looked her in the eye. You don't miss me. You miss the safety. You miss the infrastructure. You burned the bridge, and now that you're cold, you want to come back to the fire. That's not love. That's survival. It is love, she insisted, and tears slipped down her cheeks. We looked so good together. We were a team. We fit. I let out a short laugh. We fit. Then I did something I never thought I would do. I mirrored her. I looked her up and down the way she had looked at me at the vineyard, not with hate, just with honesty. Look at us, Elena, I said quietly. I gestured to myself. Calm, stable, moving forward. Then I gestured to her. Frantic, broken, still chasing the same validation. I leaned in a little, kept my voice low. I'm curating a life of peace, stability, and integrity. I paused just long enough. And to be honest, you don't fit the aesthetic anymore. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. For a second, she looked like she had been hit with her own words. Mark, she whispered, horrified. Good luck, Elena, I said. Take care of yourself. I turned toward the door. Then her voice snapped back into that old tone, sharp and demanding. Mark, you can't just leave me here. I have nowhere to go. I pushed the door open and stepped into the cool evening air. I'm not leaving you, I said without turning around. I'm leaving the role you gave me. And I walked away. For the first time in 3 years, the picture felt perfect because I was finally out of someone else's frame. If you've made it this far, here are the lessons I took from it. Lesson 1, if someone treats you like a prop in their life, they don't see you as a partner. Lesson 2, when respect disappears in private, humiliation shows up in public. Lesson 3, boundaries don't need drama. Sometimes they are one quiet decision you follow through on. Lesson 4, people who use you will call it love when the benefits are flowing, and call it cruelty when the benefits stop. Lesson 5, you don't have to be the hero in someone else's story to prove you're a good person. What would you have done the moment Elena told him to move out of the picture? Would you have left right then, or would you have tried to talk it out? Have you ever been with someone who cared more about appearances than respect? Share what happened in the comments.